Bad News Abound. This is Kings of Bryce.
This is Ultimate.
And this is MGT Cast.
Bad News Abound.
So, I mean, in a way it is.
No.
Well, it might not in a way because it is, but we're gonna have a 2 subject matter cast today.
Yeah.
And or tonight. Tonight. It's 1:16 a.m. So we're gonna start with the first one that's on the tab, and we got Disney Infinity has been discontinued. So.
Oh.
Okay, this is taken from CNET by the GameSpot staff. Disney's Toys to Life game Disney Infinity is no more. The media giant said Tuesday in its earnings report that it has discontinued its entire self-published console game business. So,
So Disney itself won't be making games anymore.
Yeah. So its game department just is flat out gone now. As part of this, the House of Mouse is incurring a $147 million charge. As Ben Fritz of Wall Street Journal puts it, this is the end of Disney as a video game publisher. Additionally, Disney Infinity principal developer Avalanche Software is being closed, with close to 300 developers losing their jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. First of all, the fact that apparently they had that big of a department and just decided to shut it down. Like, I thought Disney Infinity was doing pretty well.
I mean, I guess with that, it's I guess in a way, people may like the game.
Yeah.
But I guess the amount sold wasn't offsetting its development cost. So also, and it says it remains to be seen if any of Disney Infinity's co-developers, such as Ninja Theory, anyone know who Ninja Theory is? They made Heavenly Sword, the newest Devil May Cry, or DMC. So yeah. Those guys have Enslaved Odyssey to the West, like those games.
Okay.
That publisher and it says it remains to be seen if Ninja Theory is going to be affected by the game's discontinuation. As it turns out, Disney Interactive also pulled out of in March. They pulled out of E3 2016 and did not explain why. So I mean, this is probably why.
Wow.
There will continue to be games based on Disney properties, of course, but Disney will no longer publish them. Did you hear also this is a side note because Disney owns Star Wars. Did you know that Respawn Entertainment is reportedly going to make a Star Wars game?
Really?
Yeah. Electronic Arts is making multiple new Star Wars games, including multiple Battlefront sequels, as well as a third-person game from Titanfall developer Respawn. Additionally, Dead Space developer Visceral Games and a new EA studio Motive are also working on Star Wars projects. So I mean, the craziest thing is I want to say that it was trying to compete with the giant that is Skylanders. Although I find Skylanders to be a little bit as of right now a little bit diluted.
Yeah.
Because rather than having updates to their game, they just release them. It's an Activision thing apparently.
Yeah.
That they flood the market with games, and then suddenly their games ended up not being good. But I guess Skylanders are doing good enough that in a difference to Disney Infinity that that Disney Infinity couldn't make any money off of it.
Interesting.
Let's see.
Well, I guess then probably some of what they're thinking is that And I guess I'll try to. I mean, it's horrible that all these people lost their jobs.
Yeah, that's like
You know,
they
I
can
don't
say
want
that
to.
close to 300 people lost their jobs.
Yeah, so like I don't want to make light of that, but I guess I'll try to look at the positives, um, from a gamer standpoint. My guess is that they think they can make more by licensing out
Yeah, it's almost like
to other
outsourcing, right?
publishers.
It's like outsourcing,
Yeah, to other publishers,
which
and
is a
just kind of
terrible
having
word for
them
this case.
pay for their rights.
Yeah,
Um, so while it's yes, it is horrible that these people lost their jobs. The benefit for us as gamers is that most likely Disney's not going to be outsourcing to anyone that's going to be able to afford, I'm sure, licensing Disney stuff is going to be a big developer, which means most of these games will probably have a decent hype machine behind them,
yeah,
which means at the very least these will be big titles. Obviously, it doesn't guarantee they're going to be great, but it means that there will probably be, you know, because these companies are going to have to be paying Disney, I'm sure, a pretty penny to get their licensing. They're going to be trying really hard to recoup their losses. So not their losses, but recoup the money they invested.
yeah,
So I'd expect most Disney games from here on out. There'll probably be less Disney games from here on out, but I think there'll be more quality Disney games from here on out, or at least ones with more work put into them.
yeah. Um, let's see. Let's just read some of these statements here. One of them, in the statement to Destructoid, Disney explained why it's getting out of the video game publishing business. Although, after a thorough evaluation, we have modified our approach to console gaming and will transition exclusively to a licensing model. A company representative said this shift in strategy means we will cease production of Disney Infinity, where the lack of growth in toys to life market coupled with high development costs has created a challenging business model. This means that we will be shutting down Avalanche, our internal studio that developed the game. This was a difficult decision that we did not take lightly given the quality of Disney Infinity and many of its passionate fans. You want to know what the crazy thing is like, we are not taken lightly, like to people losing their jobs, but no matter how you look at it, it seems kind of fucked up,
Yeah.
So, it's hard to talk about it without sounding a bit, like, oh man, they lost their jobs? Shit. Like, you can't even begin to imagine, that, you know, I can't even imagine, how hard it is to be like, how to get into like to keep staying in the industry, I guess. So, I mean, I guess in a way you were right, considering that the licensing model,
Mm-hmm.
and then, and I was right with like the lack of growth and high development costs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I shouldn't have forgot, but it's not just Skylanders, it's Amiibos as well. That they're competing with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, this almost might be a turn this also might be, a turn in a weird direction. Do you think maybe now that Disney Infinity has become discontinued, do you think some of the more rare figurines are going to be more pricey? Because I don't know of any like rare like Disney Infinity characters.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I guess
But
we'll see.
yeah, my guess would be is that um, whatever secondary market there is for them is just probably gonna go up in price because I mean the reality is like even if this game's over, like there are people who are big gaming fans and big Disney fans, and they're probably gonna want the whole collection. You
Yeah.
know,
So
I
some
imagine
I'd imagine
some of the harder to find ones will now probably become more
valuable.
yeah, more valuable just because you're not getting any more from Disney.
Yeah, because at the same time that in a way, even if you didn't play the game already, they're still you can still treat them as a collector's item. So I mean, um, so well, moving ahead, I guess like um, but here we got one more. I got one more statement here. Disney Infinity SVP John Blackburn published a statement on the shutdown of the game's website. You can read the full post below, which by now you have heard the news, and we have made a difficult decision to discontinue the production of Disney Infinity. From the beginning, Disney Infinity was built for you, our fans, and I wanted to take a moment to thank you, not just for your support over the years, but creating a community that made Disney Infinity more than just a game. Our goal for Disney Infinity was to bring the best Disney storytelling to life in homes around the world, and with your support, we accomplished that. We hope that you had so much fun playing the game as we had making it. For what's next for Disney Infinity, we have 2 final retail releases coming, including 3 new characters from Alice Through the Looking Glass later this month, and the Finding Dory playset launching in June. As we turn to the next chapter in our story, I want to thank everyone who helped bring Disney Infinity to life, particularly Disney's Glendale-based production and publishing teams, our external development partners, as well as the incredible Avalanche team for their tireless dedication to this project. But most of all, I want to thank you for making Disney Infinity a part of your lives and for adding the Disney legacy for adding to the Disney legacy by being part of this community. So I guess it's I think in a way it's cool that even though that they're discontinuing it, they already had sets ready to launch, so they're just gonna go ahead and release those. Because it seems kind of fucked up that if you were, you had maybe some people going, hey, I'm looking forward to getting these figures, and then suddenly they just don't come out. Like the Finding Dory playset, I imagine, people are gonna want. So it's cool that they're gonna release those characters at least, and then the Finding Dory playset for, and then also the ones through Alice through the Looking Glass. So I mean that's good. At least they're gonna finish off with the releases. Because it seems, it would kind of suck if they just said, "Oh, we're gonna, we're shutting down," and all of a sudden, boom, nothing. So I mean, at least they're not gonna, at least they're going down on a good note.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
All right.
Could have been a lot worse.
I mean, it could have been just like it could have been a lot worse with, I guess you could say, like internal strife and fighting.
Yeah.
But it was really just an in business decision that unfortunately ended a few more than a few jobs. So with that said, we're gonna move on to our next bad news.
Oh man.
And it's not so much like horrible news, like, because the Disney Infinity thing was horrible news.
Yeah.
Because seeing as that almost 300 people lost their jobs, but this one is more on the light end of bad news, so we can end on a better note than we've started. So the headline saying Mass Effect Andromeda release date delayed, BioWare confirms. So
well then,
postponement to early 2017 deemed necessary to deliver everything the game can be and should be. So just hearing that, like, what are your thoughts before I read anything else? Do you think this will hurt more than, because some games have been delayed and actually hurt them more than than they actually gained?
No, I think it's okay. I think some games being delayed outside of the busy game release season can be a blessing, because now it's not going up against, Battlefield, Call of Duty. It's not going up against, I mean, obviously, these are all different games, but still, the fact of the matter is, Pokemon's coming out around that time,
Yeah.
And the reality is I'm sure most people can't buy every single game at once. So I think
lucky.
Yeah, I know, right? There's people out there. Well, I can, which is fine. That's amazing for you. But I think for most people, they probably have to pick and choose, and so I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing from that standpoint. It's unfortunate, but we've gone so long without Mass Effect, and it's not like this is necessarily, this isn't necessarily an extension of Mass Effect 3, so it's not like, oh man, now I gotta wait even longer, to have closure. You know what I mean? So I'm not upset. I mean, here's the thing. Final Fantasy 15 is, we heard about it like 10 years ago,
Yeah, and it's finally coming out, hopefully in
Yeah.
September.
And, Zelda, we just found out Zelda Wii U is
Now
now
going to
Zelda
be,
NX.
and it was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, because there are plenty of
Plus,
big games that.
Titanfall 2 also comes out around that time. I think there's just a lot of stuff. So,
All right, taken again from CNET and the GameSpot staff in a newly published blog post, BioWare said that the release date delay was necessary to make sure we deliver everything that the game can be and should be, which is good. The studio also revealed that Mass Effect Andromeda would be showcased at the EA Play Conference Sunday, June 12th, days ahead of E3. So they're going to show it early, actually. When teased at E3 2015, Mass Effect Andromeda was earmarked to launch in 2016, but a possible delay to release date was expected ever since March this year. And the EA executive suggests that the project was set to ship fiscal quarter 4, which runs between January and March 2017. Writing in the blog post, BioWare General Manager Aaron Flynn suggested the delay was decided to ensure the Mass Effect project meets internal quality standards. Because as much as a lot of people were like, oh, they need to hurry up and come out with that game, man, and then when they do, then they get panned for it. That's like, oh man, I wanted them to put out this game, and when they did, it was it was terrible, it was buggy and all fucked up. That happened with Battlefield, actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of EA games.
Yeah.
So, and they got a lot of heat for that. So I mean, it's good. It's good that that at least BioWare has a good head on its shoulders. And it says Flynn also confirmed the game, which now appears to be in its 4th year of development, will be showcased at the EA Play event, which is held Sunday before E3. Elsewhere on the blog post, the studio enumerated, I'm pretty sure I said that right, several design pillars and PR angles for its upcoming title. That list, as written by Flynn, can be found below. Number 1, more freedom. Our biggest ambition is to give players an unprecedented level of freedom for a Mass Effect experience. Where you'll go, how you'll get there, and how you'll play. Number 2, new Uncharted worlds. We're leaving the Milky Way behind and headed toward Andromeda, where we'll meet new allies, confront new enemies, and explore fascinating new worlds. And third, the next great Mass Effect experience. Mass Effect Andromeda will be the first Mass Effect game for today's consoles and first built on the Frostbite engine. We're pushing the technology to deliver visual, story, and gameplay that have never been done in franchise history. So, how does that sound so far? I mean, promises abound, right?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good. How
much different? Because I've never played any of the Mass Effect games to length. So how does that sound as a person who's played Mass Effect to length? Like those promises.
It sounds cool because just the whole idea of being in a sci-fi setting and being able to have that much freedom. I mean, it sounds good. I guess I hope they don't. I just hope they don't sacrifice.
Now hold on a second. Let me get this question out of my head before we go any further. How linear is Mass Effect? Like the 3 games. How linear was it? Like as an experience?
It's It's linear in the sense that actually no, it's do you remember the Zelda game A Link Between Worlds?
Yeah.
How the whole thing with that game was supposed to be that you can go to dungeons in any order, basically.
Yeah.
Uh, if I remember right, it's a little similar, not like the whole thing, but like you'd be given like uh if I remember right, there was like times where you were like, okay, I could go here and do this, or I could go here and do this. Um and then but then like once you finish that, you move on to a next part.
Yeah.
So like there's a little bit of freedom in like the order in which you do things, but like I mean, I guess in a way it's fairly linear.
Okay. So
Um
it's linear. It's linear enough you can stomach it. Let's
yeah.
just say. So they
Um
compensate enough for the linearity of other things.
yeah. But I mean, here's the thing, like and some people will probably disagree with me. I just hope they don't make it so open, whereas they sacrifice the cohesive story line, where like because like the main story of Mass Effect was like good, like people will complain about after the third one, but like for the most part it was really good. And I just everyone I've ever talked to, like, was, like, everyone loves Skyrim, but like everyone I've talked to, it's like, oh well, yeah, the main story is not really, whatever.
Yeah, because you could pretty much phase out the entire story in like 2 hours. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but it's like you spend most of your time doing other stuff, and it's like the main story to Mass Effect was so good. I just hope that they don't lose that
yeah.
for the sake of just like you can go wherever you feel like.
Yeah,
And
let's just say that, like, let's just hope that the main story isn't so short, and
yeah.
then it has the rest of the universe in the game to compensate for the shortness. Like, let's just say let's just I guess let's say let's just hope for let's just hope for a balance.
Mm-hmm.
A good fulfilling story on top of like good sidetrack, so you can get your mind off of like the story for a little bit and be like, hey, I'm gonna go do that really quick. And
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise everything sounds good. Um, and I do think just pushing it back, it just means it's going to be more polished.
yeah,
You know, we
gotta hit
you
that.
know
Gotta hit that.
we've had games these days
Oh yeah.
that they get released and it's like, wow, you need a patch badly.
Yeah. Despite the project's long gestation period, BioWare Montreal has disclosed few details regarding Mass Effect Andromeda. Trailers have suggested the game takes place after the original trilogy, as the legacy of Shepard is referenced. Fans of the series may have discovered that the protagonist of Andromeda will be called Ryder. A dog tag in the N7-Day trailer featured the word Ryder. Ryder spelled with a Y or Ryder spelled with an I. It's one of those two. It is also speculated the character would be named after Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. This would fit with the naming of the original trilogy's protagonist, who was named Shepard after the first American man in space, Alan Shepard. And on a side note, I don't know why this is on here. I mean, I guess in a way, this could affect the game a little. I guess in a way, this affected the game a little bit. On February 15th, Andromeda's lead writer Chris Schlerf left the studio to join Destiny's developer Bungie. That's a little on a side note. So, everything sounds like it's good in proper order. I guess if you want to say that from a neutral standpoint. I mean, again, there's always going to be people that that pan the idea that, oh my god, I can't believe they delayed it again, or I can't believe there's going to be a delay.
Yeah.
But it just I guess there just has to be those people in the world, I guess. People that want a game to come out as soon as possible, but then pan the developer for not fixing bugs. It's a it's a double-edged sword. But
Yeah.
in all, with this article, everything sounds like it's in proper working order. So I'm just, I haven't, at least for me, I haven't seen any of the trailers for it. I hope to see, I hope to really get more into it when E3 comes around. That's soon, and that's, getting pretty
Yeah.
close. Um, so
Oh
I
wow, yeah,
guess,
E3's in a month.
yep, yep. I guess with that said, like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think about any of these two articles. Tell us if, tell us if, if you were, if in a way this Disney Infinity, discontinuation shocked you a little bit, although it did for me because, my family's like a real, like, big Disney family. In a way, we have people in my family that work in the retail industry of Disney. So, um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be curious to know what, how they're gonna how they're what they're gonna end up doing with the extra, Disney Infinity characters that they have at their stores and stuff like that. Um, Again, tell us what you think. If this shocked you at all, and again,
If you play Disney Infinity, tell us if this affects you.
again, and then comment on, you Mass Effect people out there. Be sure to chime in as well.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
tell us what you think about the recent delay. Do you think it's, do you think it's a boon, like we think it is, or if it's a, if it's gonna be, the nail in the coffin? No, it's not that quite that serious, but I would just say, tell us whether or not you think it's a boon or not. But, again, time can only tell. We still got
First out.
we still got a lot of this year to go. Games to release, games to be delayed. So, with
More
that,
games to break our hearts.
yeah, with that said, this is the Kings of Rice.
This is Ultima.
Peace out.
Later.